Hi, Joy. Welcome back, and thank you for the next batch of your essays. Let's have a look at this task one response, which is about a map. So the maps compare the changes of an island before and after the construction. Construction of what? Because if you say construction like this, you mean the construction of the island, which is not quite accurate. Significant differences could be seen on the second map since it was converted to a tourist resort after complete exploitation. Okay. If you write it like this, what you say is the map was converted to a tourist resort, not the island. And I think you didn't mean to say this. So you need to rephrase this to make sure that you mean the island, not the map. Exploitation, on the other hand, means something negative. For example, labor exploitation, right, of children, something like that. Instead, I could suggest you use the word development, right? Instead of construction, you can say development, and you can use the verb to develop in order to mean to refer to the construction of facilities, building of roads, and even developing a lake in the eastern part of the island. There used to have probably only a couple of trees on the island and the beach on the east coast. It is noticeable that the length of the island is approximately 1,000 meters. Okay, this is relevant if it's followed by the fact how this changed or what was added, but the fact that you say that it is noticeable the length of and what the length of the island was, and by the way, that's 1 kilometer or 1,000 meters. You can incorporate this slightly differently. The maps compare the changes undergone by a 1,000 meter wide or long island before and after development. So you can incorporate the size that way. In case you want to say this, I mean the fact that there were trees, you could say it by following with more facts. And again, this is a bit informal. You could say it's something along the lines of, as it can be seen on the first map, before development, there used to be only several trees and an unexplored beach on the east coast. Yet, after the, let's say, the exploration, the island witnessed great changes. Tourists now may land on the shore from the pier after descending from sailboats. Well, you say tourists again, but perhaps you could do this in a more impersonal way. You can say the pier built in the southern part of the on the southern beach on the southern, let's say, shore now allows landing from sailboats or the landing of sailboats. The vehicle track takes people directly to the central mall, where a restaurant is located on its northeast, and the hospital is suited on the southeast of the mall. Hospital suited? Okay. Is this a hospital? Might be, yes. Looks like a cross there. Okay. I'm not sure why you say suited. The footpaths lead visitors to the accommodation areas on the beach accordingly. Additionally, an artificial lake was built on the east coast of the island. I think we need a period. You outlined the correct facts, but the tone that you use is a bit neutral or informal. It doesn't sound like a formal academic report. So perhaps you could say something like, the vehicle tracks connect residences to the central mall, which is also I don't know, where in close proximity there's also a restaurant and a hospital in the northeast and southeast respectively, something like this. The thing is, try to avoid mentioning people or tourists and try getting this more into the impersonality of the passive. I hope you get what you mean. Yes, the way you did it here, an artificial lake was built. Yeah. Overall, the maps illustrate the great changes happened on the island. I would say that the island um, underwent after tourist facilities were constructed on it. There used to be nearly the island used to be nearly almost deserted, while after development it successfully became a tourist spot with multiple functions. I would suggest you change it like this. Anyway, this is a nice try. Maps are not very easy to write about, but keep in mind my suggestions. Try to be impersonal, not mention people because there are no people. Many things are implied, but again, it depends greatly. Stay impersonal, write the facts, don't get confused in the tenses. Now let's have a look about the essay about green energy, right? Recent years have witnessed an increasing popularity of green energy usage. Some people believe that it is jeopardizing safety. How about a linking word or expression here? You can say yet or nevertheless, something to show contrast maybe. Nice word, jeopardizing. However, I am with the opponents. What do you mean you are with the opponents? I would say it's easier to say, however, I am of the opinion that clean energy could not only save expenses, but also protect the environment. Yes, this is a bit unusual. Admittedly, clean energy tends to generate some kind of disposal that is harmful to the environment. What do you mean by this? I'm not sure that you have used the word disposal appropriately, and I'm not sure what meaning you put there. Do you mean like emissions? If yes, it doesn't mean this. Have a look at the meaning of the word disposal in the dictionary. Taking nuclear energy as an example, when generating electricity by nuclear power, considerable amount of waste and distribute. Why distribute? This word is misused, would also be produced. This is a severe issue, especially for the uranium. No, it's a severe issue for people because of the uranium, which is the key raw resource for nuclear resource, beg your pardon, for nuclear power, because it is toxic and nearly have nothing to dispute. I'm not sure why you use the word dispute here. Okay, so to dispute means to discuss, like to debate. So why you use dispute? I'm not sure. Do you mean dispose as throw away? Then maybe. More importantly, after absorbing it, animals and human beings are threatened probably like this, threatened by diseases and even death. Okay. The thing is that there might be a confusion, because if you say clean energy and you take the example of nuclear energy, that's not the best example, because we refer to clean or green energy as the renewable source type of energy, like the energy of wind, solar power, tidal waves, or geothermal sources, springs. But this paragraph, I might say, is a bit off topic because it's not really about green or clean energy. Yes, nuclear energy will generate toxic waste, which is highly toxic and really harmful to the environment and to people. And you're right here, right. But I don't think we can go this way in this essay. However, I tend to agree that the utilization of green energy such as solar and hydropower could protect the earth and reduce spending in the long term. Okay. And here the earth is probably, you mean the planet Earth, right? Okay. Utilization of green energy such as solar and hydropower, like this. Firstly, the waste caused by generating green energy is less than from conventional energy than from conventional energy. And here you are right, though I'm not sure we can speak about any kind of waste when we discuss solar energy. Like, what kind of waste is there if electricity is generated by means of using solar panels? Is there any waste? I'm not sure. So this might be irrelevant, saying that there is less waste than from conventional energy sources, not just energy, but energy sources, such as fossil fuels. Generating electricity by solar power could merely produce a small amount of litter or CO2. You can say CO2 or carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide. Okay. Can you give me an example? Why so? Why so? Moreover, using green energy, little money is ought to be put in the infrastructure. Is ought to be put in the infrastructure. You keep saying using green energy, so perhaps you should find a way to rephrase this just to avoid repetition. But in terms of the argument, actually, you need a lot of money for the infrastructure, but you need it only once. Like, for example, solar panels are very expensive because the technology is expensive, but in a couple of years, they repay the investment. So you need to invest in the infrastructure, but then it pays off. And perhaps this needs to be mentioned. Because these resources are renewable, which means that human beings could get as much as they need. What do you mean? What do you mean by they can get as much as they need? And let's remember, try not to use the word get in academic essays at all, because it's informal. Do you mean that renewable energy sources cannot be depleted and you can take as much as you need? That is correct. Like solar power or the power of waves is eternal because they're always there. Comparing with the oil and petrol, which is facing the threat of being used up, the last drop, which are facing the threat of being depleted, and there's a special word for that, green energy, and I told you that this is a frequent repeat. Look how many times you use green energy here. Generating green energy, so on, and green energy again. Look, find a way to say this in a different manner, and you will increase your chances to have a better score for vocabulary, because you will prove that you have a range of vocabulary, right? So green energy is a primary choice because they are unlimited, not non-limited, unlimited. Unlimited. Okay. Okay. A primary choice for whom or for what? Therefore, the popularity of green energy tends to help, or will help build, you don't need to use tends, will help to build a better environment, will help, let's say, will contribute to a better and cleaner environment, and will save money. To conclude, though clean energy may produce disputes, it brings more benefits than drawbacks, such as saving money and leading to a cleaner environment. So you see, you have the same word here. This is a very short conclusion. You need to summarize your main points. So this is a very nice essay. I really like your arguments. You have great topical vocabulary, but one, let's avoid repetition. Let's rethink and rework this paragraph because this is off topic. As I told you, this is not about renewable energy. Nuclear energy is considered to be clean, but very dangerous nevertheless, because you said it yourself. But this discussion should not be here. And you are misusing the word disposal, distribute, and dispute here, as I mentioned before. So revise my remarks once again. Listen to what I had to say about the map answer, and I am sure that your text can become much, much better in absolutely no time. So all the best of luck.